Hey everyone, Tanner Bell here. Welcome back to Maker's Gonna Learn and your special edition September Maker Material box video. This is an exclusive video just to our friends that have ordered our September Maker Material box. So again, thank you guys for the support of Maker Materials, and we hope that you are going to enjoy your September box. With that being said, in today's video, we are going to be making 3 or 4 adorable ornaments that are perfect for you guys to make with the materials found in your box. So what I mean by that is we have so many different ideas to inspire you to get started with your Christmas ornaments today. And what I love about our Maker Material box is that the possibilities are endless when it comes to the box, because we're making 4 projects today, and out of that you're gonna have so much leftover material to hold you over from now until Christmas for all of your different projects. I mean, you guys know we've given you some of our favorite colors of green and some different things that we're going to be using all season long. But consider this video an inspiration point for you guys to get inspired, whether you're wanting to make ornaments with your kids like we're going to be doing with this one, or just really a lot of other fun things. So if you guys are excited, let's jump into it. For our first project, we are going to make this awesome gingerbread. Now this is a fun one that you are actually able to kind of use the Cricut with your kids to bring these projects to life. It is so much fun, and it's a great project to kind of have on the tree, and again, get your kids familiar with Cricut, help them size it, help them pick out the different materials, and then be able to create it. So we've created a basic gingerbread, and I'm super excited to teach you some of my favorite steps to master this project with the rotary blade and the different material. Right here we have the gingerbread man from the Maker's Gonna Learn cut file collection. You guys can find this over on the site, and what I love about this one is that it is really awesome for a few things. So it is going to be a 2-layer project. So the white is actually going to be iron-on that you are go place on top of it, and you're going to use your easy press to heat it down for a smooth transition. I get so many questions saying, Tanner, can you iron on felt? And the answer is yes. It works really well, and you're going to really enjoy this process. Now, one thing I do want to point out is that for our sample, when we were developing it, we realized that there's a little hole here, and if this was cardstock, it would go really well. Now, the rotary blade cannot cut, that out. So what we need to do is we need to go over here and we need to select layers, and what we're going to do is we are going to just really quickly click ungroup, and we are going to just select the outside brown layers, and we're going to click hide contour. So I'm going to zoom in right here, and I'm actually going to contour out this dot from the cut file so that it will not try to cut that, and we will actually just put our piece on the back for a more cleaner look and not have any issues. So that is a great little tip, and then you're able to go through and group those layers together. So now we are going to be ready to size it. For our gingerbread, we have about a height of 5.5 inches. So we just went over to edit and selected 5.5 for the height, and our width is 4.5 inches. Now today we are working with the rotary blade. This comes with all Cricut makers, and if you do not have a Cricut maker, feel free to make this project with any other material. There are a few ways to kind of hack your Cricut Explorer to cut felt, but it is not as trusted as this method, and the process is a little bit more, hacking. So feel free to test that if you will, but for now we recommend, cutting felt only with a Cricut maker, but we do really enjoy this process, and you can cut hundreds of other material with just your fine point blade to get the same project and make the same results with cardstock or anything like that, truly. So we're just going to place that into clamp B again. I just grabbed it out of it. It's so easy. We're now going to press make it, and we're going to press replace. So we have 2 layers now. We have our felt layer, and then we have our iron-on layer. So today we've already put our sheet of felt down onto the fabric grip mat. Now you did receive a sheet of felt from your box, so you're going to be able to use it, and it's going to be really awesome. So we're going to cut that layer first. So we're going to press continue. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go over here and click all material, and we are going to select felt. So right here, we are going to select felt, and we are going to actually edit the tools, and we are going to cut it with the rotary blade. Now, Cricut, over the past few years, months, has changed what they consider felt is. They always are constantly updating these settings, so they're not 100% accurate at all times, but apparently they do recommend the fine point blade to cut felt, but from our experience, we prefer the rotary blade for this. So feel free to test it. Again, there's some different felt settings that we have played with and, you know, tested out. So some of the felt acrylic fabric works really well. I think, if I'm for sure, yeah. So this felt acrylic is automatically recommended for the rotary blade. So that's the setting I use traditionally for felt, but I did want to show you guys what, you know, it says for just the basic felt setting, because it does, you know, say you can use the fine point blade. So anyway, we're going to be able to cut that out. I'm going to give that a little bit more pressure. And now we're going to be able to load our mat into the machine. And once it's loaded, we're actually going to be able to press the flashing Cricut button. The speed automatically sets for this material, and there's no need there's no fast mode offered. And now you're going to be able to peel off the fabric, and as you can see, we have a perfectly cut out gingerbread. I absolutely love the acrylic felt setting because it does give those awesome crisp and clean lines. So then you can just quickly peel this up. It is fabric, so it's very thick and sturdy, so you're just going to want to, you know, kind of sit that over to the side, and now you're done with the fabric grip mat. Now, I do like to mention felt is one of those materials that does get stuck to the mat, so you do want to be careful, and there's a few solutions. Be sure to check out a video we have on cleaning the mats after you use it a lot. Believe it or not, a lot of people think they should scrape this felt stuff off. Cricut actually says leave it there because it is affecting less than it looks. And if you start scraping it, that is actually spreading it out and making the whole mat unsticky. So you want to be very careful with it. I've heard great reviews being able to clean these lightly with baby wipes and other solutions like that. So if you're looking for that, you know, we do have some resources for you. But moving right along to mat 2, be sure to mirror it. Now again, these layers does not have to be mirrored because they could be either side and still see it, but anytime you're using heat transfer vinyl, you want to make sure you're in that habit of putting that material shining side down and mirroring, you know, your image. You don't want to potentially, you know, use something wrong or use text one day and use basic circles and shapes one day and get confused. So always leave that mirror on. But we're going to go up here to step 1, and we actually are going to quickly change it from felt to everyday iron-on. And again, it gives us our warning. So now we're going to use our fine point blade. So all we've got to do is change out the fine point blade from, you know, pop that into clamp B. So we took out our rotary, and we're just popping that fine point blade into the machine. So once you've loaded your material, you can actually load it into the Cricut. Once it's loaded, you feel free to turn on fast mode if you would like, or anything like that, to be able to cut a little bit faster, and then you can press that flashing Cricut button. So we've now been able to go through and cut out our gingerbread face. So what we're going to do now is just quickly cut out that excess vinyl, just like so. And then remove the excess, and be sure to place this in your scrap bin. And now we're going to grab our pin tool from our August box, and we are going to quickly use it. Now, I've had so many friends over and they're like, Tanner, this is just a regular pin, but we really want to hear from you guys and see if you're enjoying your pin tool as much as we are. We've had quite a few live streams featuring it, so be sure to check out those and whatnot, because it is such an awesome tool, and it is a little bit different than our traditional, you know, weeding tools and things. So just be careful, you know, when you're getting used to it. You want to make sure you check out some resources on it, because you want to, you know, make the best projects possible, right? So now we're going to peel this up and look at this. This is so easy. It's already, you know, arranged for us. So you just position it down, and you have your gingerbread man right here ready to go. So we love that. So now we're using our little Easy Press 6x7. We're going to turn it on and we're going to preheat this to about 310 or 315 for 30 seconds. Now you can always reference the Cricut printable guide that we have at Makers Gonna Learn. If you are a member, you can get access to that. And we are just, preheating this. But one of my favorite tips for this project is to use an Easy Press mat. It's super valuable for the process. And, it's going to be really awesome. Now that it's preheated, we're going to grab our Easy Press and we're just going to apply it down for 30 seconds. Be sure to apply it firm and even pressure. It's pretty easy with this small little ornament, so this is a lot of fun. And again, if you're making this with a kid, be sure to monitor your Easy Press as it is at 315 degrees, so you want to be very, very careful. Okay, so we're going to lift up and we're going to let this cool, and you'll be able to see the amazing results felt has on heat transfer vinyl. It works tremendously well, and I was kind of surprised when people are asking me if it for sure worked, because I am such a huge fan of it. Now we're going to be able to just peel this up, and you can already see the little bubbles on the heat transfer vinyl, and it is there. And does it not look adorable? Now what we're going to do is be able to create a quick little loop for the back. So just like so, we're going to take our scissors and kind of cut this right here. And now what we're going to do is pull out that hot glue gun, turn it over, kind of position where you want it, just like so. Flip it around back, and then we are going to kind of add our glue, just like so. This is the back of the project, so you can always put a second piece of felt on the back if you would like. But what I love about hot glue is it works extremely quick, and anytime you're creating a glob like this, have that circular motion so that the strings will go away. So now we're going to let this sit and dry completely, and then we're going to add an adorable little bow on the front. It's going to be so fun. So now we're going to add a small little dot of glue to the bow, just like so. And again, make sure to use that spinning motion, just like so. And then pull, and any of your imperfections can be removed with a hair dryer. Just always remember that when you're working with hot glue. You want to apply pressure for quite a few seconds, and remember, feel free to use your hot glue gun helpers. They're little pieces of silicone that helps you from getting any glue on your fingers. So then a really fun tip is, if you guys could tell, I have a few hot glue gun strings. You can use some, you can use a heat embossing tool that I feature on camera all the time, or you can use a hairdryer, and you can quickly just take those hot glue gun strings away. So it does quickly remove those hot glue gun strings, especially if you have quite a bit of them. That is a little fun hack that we love to use when we are working with hot glue. So now our first project is complete. All right, guys, for the second project, we are going to take this that came in your box, and we are going to make a really fun iron-on wood project. Now, to get started, we are going to stain our wood with our favorite white stain, but you can use paint, you can use whatever stain you would like. So I'm going to give you some quick tips on staining. All right, guys, so I've got our piece of wood right here with 2 pieces of paper under us, and now I'm going to quickly put on my gloves. So what we're going to use, since it's a small project today, we're going to use a piece of paper towel, and I like to fold it a few different ways, and then we're going to be able to take our stain, just like so. I'm going to bring it into the frame, and all we're going to do is take a small little piece, kind of fold it, and we're going to dip it into the stain, and then we're going to take it onto the wood, and I just kind of work it into the wood. And again, guys, you can use, fancy things for stain if you would like, but for these smaller projects, I kind of like to use paper towel because you have it on hand, it's super affordable, and it's super easy to work with. And as you can see, you're able to get really nice, even coverage. Now, one thing I like to say about the white stain is I always like to do 1 to 2 coats of the stain, just to make sure you're able to kind of build it up and you're still not going to see any of that, traditional yellow piece of the stain. Of the wood. I like to make sure it's very nice and white. With 1 coat, you can still see some hints of yellow popping through. So I like to do, 1 really thick coat. and then, you know, work that in and then let it dry or heat set it and then apply a second coat. So we're just working that in. And then when you feel comfortable with that first layer, we are going to grab our heat gun that we were using earlier, and you're just going to quickly heat set it. So we're going to turn that on. And as you can see, after you stain it, it does, you know, after it dries, it still does not look as bright and white as like I would prefer it. So again, we're gonna go back in and we're gonna work on our second coat. And sometimes, guys, I get tripped up thinking, oh my gosh, this stain's not working. But it is nice to, you know, have a comparison. So for example, this is white, this is what it started as. So you can definitely see a difference here. Not a huge difference, but sometimes you just have to pick it up and look at the back to know, you know, not to psych yourself out. So we're gonna do a pretty thick coat. And you always wanna go with the grain of the wood, you know, no matter how you're holding it, always go with the grain. Okay, and I'm gonna get that spot right there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to heat set it one more time. And I may actually do a third coat. And what I love about having the heat gun available is that it helps speed up the process if you are, you know, wanting to make these ornaments pretty quick. So now that it's heat set, what we're going to do is sit it over to the side to dry while we work on the other pieces of our craft project. Now in your kit, you have a few pieces of iron-on. So we are going to be using this Better Not Pout cut file. Now I've already played around with it a little, and it is a really awesome file that you're able to kind of work with and transition for whatever, you know, piece you're working with. So for our banner, I'm going to quickly bring it into frame with our piece of paper, and I'm going to measure it. So right here we have roughly a little, you know, about 4.5 inches by 3 3/4 inches. So with that, you want to kind of be careful to stay within that range. Now with this Better Not Pout cut file, you'll see that, you know, we had to kind of unlock it and kind of play around with it. So I found for me, the best size for this project was going to be roughly 3.2 inches wide by 3.5 inches tall. And that is going to be just really awesome for us. And we're using 2 colors of iron-on today that came in your kit, this adorable green and black. So it's going to be so perfect for my theme this year for the tree. So what we're going to do is press make it, and we're going to select replace. And the first thing we're going to do is cut out the green layer. So we're going to be able to, you know, turn mirror on for both of these because we're using iron-on. Now, if for some reason you would not want to use iron-on, you would like to use, you know, vinyl, feel free to do that. Just know you do not need to mirror it, but you do receive these in your kit. So we're going to select Everyday Iron-On, even though this is Caesar Easy Weed. I like to give it just a little bit more pressure. And then we're going to be able to set up our mat. So I'm just using this green mat I've had for quite some time. So it's losing sticks slowly, but hey, we are going to make this mat last us a while. So just like so, we are going to be able to load it into the machine. And now all we're going to do is just cut out this little bitty piece right here. And then we're going to peel it up. And then again, with our little pin tool, we're going to be able to quickly weed it out. And then we're going to peel it up just like so. So we're going to set this to the side, and now we're going to repeat the same process to our next layer, which is our black text. So now we're going to use the pin tool just to weed out this layer right here, and I like to kind of get it started in a corner and then just work our way around it for the outer edge. And then where the pen tool really shines is when you're going through your middle pieces for letters and things like that. It truly is a game changer. So now we're going to be able to take our pen tool and quickly just poke these out. And again, guys, we have talked about this, but the pen tool motion is so different than, you know, hooks. You know, this is a tiny, essentially a needle. So it is super sharp. So all you do is, you know, hang on to it and just peel it up, just like so. And now you can kind of start playing with the positioning of how you would like it on your little project for your ornament. And I think this is going to be so adorable. Now again, we're going to have to work layer by layer, but you guys know I love to work with the largest layer first, especially when it comes to iron-on. So before we do that, we're going to take our Easy Press that we used before, and again, we're using the mini one. So we're going to take our piece of wood, and just like an iron-on project, we are going to take it here, and we're actually going to preheat it to about 305, so pretty close to 315. We're going to do a 305 setting. We're just going to apply that there. I'm still using the mat because it is really nice to have just that extra cushion for when you're applying pressure. So now it's preheated, we're going to take our Easy Press and we're going to apply it onto our piece of wood, and we're going to apply evenly distributed pressure for 30 seconds. Okay, after that layer's down, we're going to apply our second layer, and then we're going to add our Teflon sheet, and we're going to be able to apply it down again for 30 seconds. So now you can remove that Teflon sheet and then peel up to reveal your second layer. And now, last but not least, what we are going to do is we're going to actually take our piece of jute, and this actually came in your August kit. We're trying to make sure we use quite a bit of different materials. So we're just going to cut a pretty long piece. You know, this is relatively inexpensive. So we're going to thread this through quite a bit. And then what we're going to do for the back, we are going to tie a knot just like so. And you may need to tie 2 knots just to make sure it is nice and tight. So then you can pull that through, just like so here. And then you're going to thread that second one through as well. And you kind of pick and choose how much you want. And then, once you do, you're going to be able to take your jute, and again, just repeat that process to 2 knots. Pull it taut, and then apply that second knot. For me, I found with this size of jute and things, you need 2. So then you can pull it through, just like so, and trim the excess. And now you have an amazing ornament number 2, just like so. All right, guys, for ornament number 3, we are going to make an adorable little wooden slab ornament. These are so adorable, and we're so glad we're able to give you those in your kit. So here's what one looks like. We already had the trouble of drilling out your hole to make this an awesome little ornament. So we are going to use this today to make an adorable wooden slab polar bear ornament, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. So let me share with you how to do it. First things first, we are going to take our white acrylic paint. This is from DECOR, and we are just going to put it in a tray. And there's a few different methods you can do to paint this if you would like. Today we're using 2 different size pouncers. So we're going to start with our largest pouncer right here, and we're going to dab it. Now notice that is a lot of paint right here. So we're going to take it and kind of wipe off some, and then you're going to be able to kind of start in the middle and start giving some really even pressure. And then you just want to go over to the edge as far as you would like. So after you just evenly pounce it, you're going to now want to sit this over to dry. And since we are making this fairly quickly, as I can imagine a lot of you guys will want to do at home, we love the heat gun, so we're going to heat set this real quick as well to help with that dry time. Now that it's working on its way to being dry, we're going to sit it to the side and we're going to look at the cut file we're featuring today. So just right here, we have our awesome little polar bear face. What we're going to do from that is we are going to size it for our ornament. So all you want to do is kind of take it and size it right here with our tape measure. So we're just going to see that it is roughly about 2.5, or so. So about 2.5 is what we're working with. So we can do a little bit larger than 2.5 because you're going to see that these pieces right here are separate. So here's our little sample. It's so adorable. So these are a little bit separate. So what we can do is we can click ungroup and we can select just these right here and see what their size is. So it's 2.5 wide by a width of 3.5 height. So that's a little tall for what we're doing. So we're going to be able to select all of that and scale it down. And sometimes it's easier to visualize it if you actually have something in Cricut Design Space to showcase your ornament. So what we mean by that is actually taking a shape and a circle, and we can quickly change the color of that under Edit, and we will make it white, or let's do gray. Or oops, I had that selected, so we're going to go undo, and we're going to select our circle and change that to that light gray color. So now you can, measure it and make sure you have the specific width. And again, ours is roughly a little less than 2.5. So we'll do 2.15 or so. So all you want to do is select the circle and click under Edit, and we're just going to arrange that, move backwards. So now we'll be able to select these layers right over here and kind of manipulate it. This is a great visual for your entire project. So now you can see, okay, we can, size it a little bit larger. And this is a time that I would say Smart Guides is not as handy because you want to go over here and just turn that off so you can be a little bit more specific. And for our cut file, we're going to go ahead and attach these layers. And now you can play around with it and enlarge it just a little bit more. The only thing I'm not visualizing is exactly where our little hole is for our jute or ribbon. But you can just kind of, fill that out. And once you're good and you feel comfortable with that, you're going to be able to remove this white circle. And I accidentally deleted our little polar bear. So let's delete that gray circle. And then you may be asking, Tanner, how did you create these little pieces that are on the back of the ornament? It is really easy. So you're going to click on shapes and you're going to take a circle and we're actually going to transform it into an oval. So just like so, you can kind of play around with your oval. And then just like we did before, we're going to go over here and click Edit. And I'm going to change that color to like that light gray. And now we are going to be able to kind of move it around and again, send to back so that we can, twist it around and see exactly if this will fit for what we're doing. So we're like, okay, maybe make it a little bit wider, just like so. So that we have two awesome pieces. So we'll use each edge, just like this. So then we can, rotate over here, just make sure the other sides go fit as well. And then, we are very happy with that. Now, one thing I really would love to be able to do is cut both of these layers on one mat, but unfortunately, we're using two totally different materials. We're going to cut our oval out in white cardstock, and then we're using a scrap piece of black heat transfer vinyl that came in your kit to cut out the polar bear face. Therefore, we have two totally different cut settings, so we have to use two different mats for this small little project, but it's no big deal. So we'll be able to click Make It and Replace. And you'll see that we're able to cut out our little face. And since we're using iron-on first, be sure to mirror it, even though, it doesn't change the look of anything. We just like to make sure, again, you're always mirroring your heat transfer vinyl projects. And now we're just going to cut out both of these layers. All right, guys, so we have our oval right here, and all we're going to do is cut it, right like so. And then we're going to flip it over to the other side and repeat that. You want to have a little extra overhang so you'll be able to glue it onto the back. And then also we're going to be using the heat transfer vinyl on cardstock, which I realize could be something super new to you guys. So it's going to actually be a lot of fun. So we're going to snip this layer off, and we're going to snip this off right here as well, just like so. And then we'll have this piece that is going to go on our little ornament here. So we'll be able to heat that down here in a minute. But what we're going to do here is we're going to place these right up in here, and we're going to be able to heat this down. If you guys have never used heat transfer vinyl on different things like cardstock, this is a fun time to use it. If you attended our fall summit last year, the one and only Beth Kingston actually taught us how to use heat transfer vinyl on, wait for it, napkins. It was an amazing tutorial, and you guys would love it. But it is that easy, guys. I love it, and it's such a flawless result. You can really never pass up using heat transfer vinyl on awesome things like this. So those are our two pieces. We're going to sit to the side, but now we have this. And again, just like we did before with our ironing on wood, we apply it down, and then we give it 30 seconds at 305. So now that you've been able to heat this for 30 seconds, you're going to let it cool for a few minutes or moments. So once you've let this cool, all you're going to want to do is remove the transfer tape. And as you can see, it is so nice to be able to iron on wood because you get a really professional finish, and it is going to be adhered down for years and years to come. With vinyl, you'll find that traditionally there are potential for it to peel up and different things like that. But from all the tests that we've been able to run, you will see that, with heat transfer vinyl, it is so nice to be able to apply down on wood surfaces, and especially ornaments like that you want to have last. So now we're going to grab our two little pieces right here, and I'm actually going to use the mat just to help give us reference since it's a lot of white on white. We want to take our little pieces, and you kind of want to position where exactly you want them, and then we're going to be able to hot glue these down. So now we're going to lift up our ornament, and we're going to again grab our hot glue gun, apply a drop of glue right here, just like so. And it's really nice to work one side at a time. So now you're going to be able to pick this up and pick your positioning, and then apply that down, just like so. And then you can pick it up and hold it if you will. And you do have a little bit of time to work with it if you would like. And then you can repeat that to the other side. So now you want to let these dry and just apply even pressure for, I would say, 20 to 30 seconds, just until the hot glue has had time to dry and set into the wood. But again, guys, we also love using DAP, Rapid Fuse. It's a really, really awesome glue if you're not a fan of hot glue and you want to have some really long-lasting lifespan of your projects. So now after that is dry, we are going to just quickly grab our jute twine, and we are going to cut, I would say, probably 6 to 8 inches. And now what we're going to do is thread this through, and then we're going to be able to tie a knot and then trim the excess off. So we're going to tie this knot. We're going to do a double knot, and you can kind of pick how much you want to work with, just like so. And now we're going to trim off this excess. And then I like to just pull that right back here and have that knot be right back there. And now you have your adorable ornament ready to go for this holiday season. Is this not a really, really fun one? This is probably one of my favorites because it is so unique. All right, guys, for our last ornament of the day, we are making this adorable one with your mason jar lid. This is such an adorable and fun project to use some of your custom vinyl prints from Makers Gonna Learn to make this ornament look amazing. So again, we're going to add some jute. We are using one of our cut files, and we're going to talk about contouring and bringing this project to life. So if you guys are excited, let's jump into Design Space. Right here, you're going to be able to take a look at the cut file. Now, what we're going to do is we're just using the reindeer for this. So we're going to contour out these three by selecting Actions and Hide Contour. So all it is three simple clicks. 1, 2, and 3. Now we have the reindeer right here. So what we want to do is come over here to our mason jar lid, and we kind of want to measure the size of this. So we're going to grab our measuring tape, and all we're going to do is measure the lid. So the lid is about 3.25 inches. So all we're going to do is go to Shapes, and we are going to create a circle at 3.25 inches. So now we have a perfect circle, and this is going to be what we're cutting our awesome pattern out of. So we're going to actually use this not only for visualization purpose, but also to cut out to fit on the lid really easily. So we're going to go ahead and change that color to red for reference, and then we're going to arrange and send to back. So now we can take our deer and realize, okay, that's a little large. So we can size it down and realize that I like this size right about here. Okay, so once you've played around with it, you are going to be able to have it nice and ready to go. For ours, it's 1.9 inches width and then a 2.4 inch height. And then we have, our circle that we're going to cut out. Now, for today's project, we are cutting two vinyls that are of the same, material. One is just patterned, and one is, our black. So what we're going to do, we're actually going to color sync this all to red. So we're moving our reindeer down to the red layer. So just like so, we're going to be able to click Make It and Replace. So now we have these two layers right here, and we're actually going to just move them around. We're going to move our black down here to the bottom right-hand corner. So now we're going to grab our mat and arrange our vinyl. So right here we have our Cricut mat. Now you'll have a different sizing of this. This is a sample that we have, so it's a little bit different than what you're going to work with at home, but you're going to apply this down, and then you're going to have this over here. And what I like to do in cases like this is honestly apply it down and then use your Cricut True Control knife and just trim off any excess. So now we have our two layers ready to go and cut all on one mat. Okay, so all we're going to do now is trim off this excess after we've been able to cut it. And then we're going to do that for our little reindeer as well. So we have a very small little piece of scrap for our black, and then we're going to grab our pin tool after we peel up our excess. And if you are new here, you will know we weed on the mat very often here. It is probably our favorite place to weed. It is the one place that kind of gives you that third hand that is always crucial when crafting. It just keeps your layers all positioned for you, which is super important when you're cricketing, because you need, to keep that down so that you're able to really focus in on the weeding. So now the pin tool is so awesome to get out all of these little pieces right like that. And guys, today's video, we don't even really need transfer tape. That is one thing I was kind of shocked about as we made these projects. I was like, we ended up not even using transfer tape. So that's really cool, for all of these different projects. So we're not wasting too much of that. So we have both of our layers right here. And what we're going to do is grab our lid. And first things first, we can see that that is the perfect size. So we're going to be able to peel this up. and kind of just remove it like a sticker. And then, you know, you can kind of place this down. Just like so. And then honestly, I just kind of use my hand to apply it and work out any of the bubbles, because it is not a perfectly flat surface, and that's totally fine, because the spoiler alert here is that this is going to cover a majority. So if there's any, you know, close to the edges or things like that, you know, it's totally fine. You just want to make sure that around these edges, you know, they're as clean as possible. So now we're able to apply this down, and what we're going to do now is we're going to kind of figure out where we want to place our little silhouette of the deer, and we're actually going to treat this like a sticker too. So you can use transfer tape, guys, but again, it is a very small image, so it shouldn't be hard at all for you guys to treat it kind of like a little sticker. My tip would be just start to peel up the 4 legs, and then you'll see that it starts coming off really easily. Just like so. So now you have your sticker, and you can kind of position it down here. Just like so. And before we position and, you know, really burnish, you just want to make sure it looks good. And then once you're happy with it, you can then go through and just smooth everything out onto your vinyl. Just like so. So there is that. It is so adorable. I love it very, very much. And now what we're going to do is quickly thread more jute right through here. You're going to need, I'll do a little bit more than 8 inches for this, just to have some excess. And then we are actually going to kind of place this in, thread it through, and then place this piece in after we tie our knot. So just like so, we're going to take this and figure out how much we want to have to work with and tie our knot. So we've tied the knot, and now what we're going to do is just cut off the excess. And for that finishing look, I always like to, you know, place this in here just like so. And then instead of having this at the top, I like to keep it very intentionally at the back. And you'll see this kind of can go wherever it wants, but you want to keep that little knot here in the back of the ornament. So once you've positioned that down where you would like it, you want to flip this over to the back, and I kind of just use quite a bit of hot glue to secure this in place. So you just want to go around the back, and that's going to just keep that in place here. I like to give, you know, some hot glue all over, and as you have that, you can apply pressure. Just go add in my extra glue stick right here, and just go around all these edges. And again, this is the back of the ornament, so don't worry too much about it. But I just like to keep my hand there. And with these ornament projects, guys, if anything, I wish that you all have hot glue gun helpers, because with ornaments, you know, they're small and you want to, you know, have really awesome results. So the hot glue gun helpers does help out a ton. So now all you're going to do is to let this sit here and dry. And then once this is dry, you will just easily attach your own little bow to it and be able to do that with an extra little drop of glue. So what we're going to do now is, you know, just take a little drop of glue. It is very small and very light. And feel free to use your low temp hot glue gun. If any time any of, you know, our team is using hot glue and you're using it for a wreath, or you're using it that you're actually want to hold down, I always recommend that low temp hot glue gun for the best results, and that you're not going to burn yourself or anything like that. But isn't these so much fun, guys? You're gonna have so much fun making your own ornaments, and I hope you got a ton of inspiration. We had so much fun sharing with you guys all 4 of these awesome ornaments. If you guys have any questions, be sure to reach out to us and let us know what your favorites are. Post some pictures in the Facebook group of what you create with your awesome box for September. And we cannot wait to see you in the next box video. Until then, happy crafting. Bye, guys.